Yeah, we moved into the house about the 21st of January in 1966, and it snowed that weekend. That should make it a very special day.
I had white plush carpeting in our bedroom, and I was so excited about that. And of course, at the end of moving day, it was ruined. The movers had it cleaned. We left it there for a while, but it was not
You
good.
put white carpet in with 6 kids.
Well, they weren't supposed
They weren't
to come in that room.
Yeah, I just wanted that.
See, most of the downstairs is brick floors with 6 kids.
Yes. You would have done that, yes.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So you joined the club then?
We joined the club in March of '66. We used the pool up until the time we put our own in, and then Dot taught virtually every child in Richardson how to swim.
At that time.
Wow. So
we
just
had-
as a favor, or
Oh, no, it was
were-
a going business, so I think the biggest year, there were 85 kids, 6 at a time. She'd have class at 9, 10, 11, skip 12, have a class at 1, 6 kids at a time, 2-week things from June till August.
wow, you were busy.
Oh,
But you
And I
know,
always had a helper. And
one of the 6 kids was the right age to be the
to
helper.
help. But I guess I'm remembering those years. There was not a swimming pool on every corner,
Oh, no.
or public pools everywhere. So it was private pools were the place to get your lessons.
There was one other lady in Richardson teaching swimming.
On-
Winston
on
Churchill
Waterview.
taught.
Oh, that's right,
Winston
Winston
Churchill.
Churchill. Yeah,
And
can
I
you
can't
imagine
think of
that?
that other lady's name. But anyway.
My kids took from a lady on Waterview.
That sounded like
That's
that
it.
lady.
That's
That
it.
sounded like that. And those were about the only private teachers in town. So we had kids.
So then, when you joined the club and you used the pool, then did your kids, obviously they're swimmers, so did they participate in the swim team? Did we have one then?
Jim did the Y.
Jim was doing Y swim team, yeah. He was probably the only one that did competitive swimming.
And it turned out to be a really good thing for him because he moved to Alaska. And there isn't much you can do outside in the winter. But they
So-
had swimming pools.
An indoor
Right,
pool, so he could
And he
swim.
was on the swim team and it was great.
Was it called the Barracudas then?
Oh, this.
Here?
Yeah, I don't think he was on
Oh, you
the
did-
team
he did
here.
the
I
Y.
think
You
it was
said
the
that.
Y.
You said
Yeah,
that.
it was at the
It was the
Y,
Y.
yeah.
So, obviously the club it was $35 to join,
Yeah.
but both of you golfers?
Dot played with the 9-hole women's group for a while. That was taking up too much of her time. Switched over, played tennis for a while. That was taking up too much of her time. She had too many other fish to fry.
But you continued to play golf.
Well, yeah, as recently as yesterday.
When I saw you up here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, I've worked my way through 3 or 4 different foursomes already up here.
So you said earlier that you joined the club to meet people. So would you repeat that part now that I've got this going on? So why did you join the club?
Well, because it was here, it was handy, and it was reasonable at the time.
And we really wanted to meet people.
Oh,
We
yeah.
knew one couple in
Well,
University Park.
we knew one couple in Canyon Creek, Ilya Mamontoff.
Well, he worked for George. Yeah, so
Have you
we
ever
knew.
heard of Ilya Mamontoff?
No.
Well,
He was a loss when he left.
he obviously was Russian. his claim to fame was at the Kennedy assassination. Maria Oswald was Russian, and Ilya was called downtown as interpreter when they were questioning Lee Harvey Oswald's wife, Ilya, and he lived over here on
Fairway.
16, right off of 16.
Do you know was he a member?
Now, I don't know. He certainly didn't play golf,
But lived
but
right
he
here on the
lived. He
course.
lived in the. You know, he may have been a social member. I'm not real sure.
His claim to fame was they had an Easter party
Oh yeah, yeah.
that was to die for, to be invited.
So, and for the neighborhood, for the neighbors then.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, he had large crowds. He probably was Eastern Orthodox, and you know, this was part of that celebration type thing. So people showed up for him. He taught at SMU for a while.
Didn't he say he never invited anyone?
Well, it was taboo to invite somebody. You had to know that the party was there and you came, but he couldn't come right out and say, I don't know what, that broke a spell or something. Very
Good smell, that's funny. So who else do you remember that were members in those early
one thing
days?
that I've thought of since we started this was that I don't know exactly when it started, but we had an informal Friday night tennis group, which included the Crowleys, the Heavers, the Jenkins, the Almonds, Dan and Dana Allman, and us. That was 5. I mean, and we would meet up here on Friday night, play tennis till we got real thirsty, and then come into the grill.
So that was a regular thing.
Well,
it was to be looked forward to.
Oh, it was fun. That was well, the old group. I mean, Jenkins, I know, still up here.
Jenkins is
I don't
still
know
here?
if Heavers are still members.
No.
And Frank Crowley, who went on to be county judge. Did you know him
Yeah.
at all?
I did not know him, but I knew Mrs. Crowley.
Oh yeah, sure,
He-
sure.
He was a raconteur.
Well, yeah,
They just spilled out of him, and he walked in a room and everybody recognized his personality. It just came out of him. I mean, you know, there are people like that, not many.
I've heard about the Crowley Follies.
Oh yes, oh yeah. Well, there you are. That tells you about Frank.
Well, you know, this room has
doesn't
been...
tell you about him walking into a room, though, and just his personality exuded from him, even if he didn't say anything, which is hard to believe.
This is the Crowley Rotunda, I guess. Yeah. Of course, that was the thing when we joined the club. This room over here was about it. Where the grill was roofed, but it was open to the outside.
So it was a breezeway type.
Yeah, but it was roofed, but it was a breezeway. You had to cross it to get to the pro shop. The pro shop was still over there, but in the wintertime, it was cold going across from the pro shop back into the club, and that was all there was. The garden room wasn't there, nor this.
But the other side of that was you knew everybody. And now,
many members
you
there
know,
Well, and another old name relative to that, Joe Dugan. Joe Dugan used to redesign the stuff every time he came up here.
I think he was very much part of the remodeling over
Oh,
the
yes,
years.
absolutely. Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, Dugan, every time he'd sit down and start looking around, you'd need to get ready because we're going to do some building.
One of the stories I've heard, did y'all ever come to bingo?
Bingo? No.
No? Oh, okay.
Nope.
I'm always looking for someone who was here when the club was raided for bingo. I've
never heard that.
No,
I never even heard that.
I've heard that the club was raided because the bingo game got too big and they had been warned.
Oh.
So
No.
I have not met anyone who was actually here.
No, I didn't know that they had bingo. Of course, we probably weren't into that anyhow. A lot of this time, we just had an awful lot of kids running around the house, you know.
I imagine you did.
They take time.
Do you remember anybody on the staff? No, that's okay.
I don't know.
That's okay.
And not specifically from back that far, I don't remember staff. I know more staff now than I remember noting back in the early days.
Do you think there's been significant change in the club and the membership? How has it changed? Has it not changed?
Well, yeah, it's changed because we don't know everybody anymore.
And everybody seems a lot younger for some reason or other. I don't think that's
true.
our fault, is it? Yeah. What did we do to cause that?
That is true.
You know, it was small. The building was small. And when you came up here, you saw everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And there was only that middle part.
Well, other Sonomaire, I don't know whether Sonomaire's still here. Yeah, he is. I still see him up here. Frank Gallagher.
Yeah.
Jordan.
Are they still here?
Scotty
Gallagher?
Scotty is?
Well, yeah, well, Frank been dead for years.
Know,
And Jordan, he was here, he was a member here for a while, and then he moved over to Northwood. But, yeah, they lived in the area. They lived on Fall Creek, didn't they? Yeah. Pat Jordan. I couldn't think of her name for a minute.
Yeah, I don't know that name. That somebody
Well,
that.
But they were good friends with Crowley's. Jordans were.
Oh, she was fat.
Tall.
And she
He was-
smoked constantly.
He was a big guy. He was not only fat, but he was tall.
Does that
yeah.
describe her personality? I don't know.
But you're going to have to clean up a
Oh,
lot of
I won't get that. No. No, you're supposed to forget. You're supposed to tell me these stories and I'll edit. I'll edit that. Yes, I'm going to have to learn how to do that. I will. I'll edit.
I'll help you learn if you need any help. I want to get that off of there.
So then, starting about 1980, when this one decided she was going to be a photographer, we've done a number of weddings up here. And, well, weddings and receptions both. Some of the weddings have actually been in this room over here.
So how did you get into photography?
When our oldest son, graduated from something, university the first time maybe,
I don't know.
and we wanted to know what to give him, and he said he wanted a camera, and I didn't know anything about cameras, so I had to start finding out about cameras, and after he got it, he came down and showed me how to do a lot of it, because at that time everything was manual. Anyway.
And then she joined the camera club up at the Hurd Museum up in McKinney, and was up there a couple of years when one of the other ladies in the club said, "My daughter's getting married, would you do the pictures?" Well, that first one's that's a little nervous.
So she enlisted your help somewhere along the way?
Well, I'm the bag man.
That's how he started out.
So then, over the following years, we did over 500 weddings.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
500.
And I loved every one of them.
But
And-
we quit, about 6 years ago? Something like that. We haven't done weddings anymore. We're still doing some incidental photography, like this morning at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock.
Well, those weddings are a little intense,
Oh,
probably.
yeah.
I
Oh,
loved
boy.
them.
Yeah, she thought they were social events.
I did. I loved them.
All I looked for was the groom's cake.
In order to be a good wedding photographer, you have to know something about the family. And so I'd visit with them, the bride and groom and the parents, and it was fun meeting them, you know. I just really enjoyed the whole thing. And of course I wanted to do a good job for them. They were becoming my friends.
Well, and now some of them, one of them is our air conditioning man. You know, we pick up a lot. Well, when we built the studio, when we converted the garage to studio at the house, that was one of our grooms. You know, we just, you could pick up a lot. And then, of course, then the other thing that happened was 6'2" groomsmen would come up and say, "Miss McCalpin, you remember when you taught me swimming in the backyard?"
That's too good.
Oh, it was, because, you know, they were about this big, and of course, we didn't recognize them at 6'2".
But fortunately, I hadn't changed.
No, you hadn't changed a bit.
I didn't have a swimming suit on when they were
Well,
talking
well,
to me,
right.
or they would have seen it change.
I'm having a hard time not talking and laughing. I'm trying not to. Most of the time I'm letting y'all say it, but I really want to laugh. That's funny.
Oh, that's kind of been the story of what happens if you hang around 40 years, you know. You teach all these little kids, and 15, 20 years later, they're all grown up and doing their own thing.
So I guess many of them were neighbors. Lived
Well, see, the thing
in the
is that
neighborhood.
we never advertised. It was all word of mouth. So it was a lot of people. You know, we weren't doing weddings in South Dallas or anything. You know, we'd like wore out Canyon Creek Presbyterian Church and First Methodist Church and whatnot. You know, a large number of our weddings were local churches. We did a lot in Dallas, but it was all word of mouth. I mean, there was a family that lived over on number 4T, had 4 daughters, and we did the weddings, all 4 of them. We like families with multiple daughters.
Because then we've got the base.
You already knew the family.
That's right, that's right. So we thought that was a good deal, and they had a lot of girls. Well, we did both of Will Dalton's daughters.
And
So
that's
my
George's
golfing buddy.
golfing buddy.
And not Joe Dalton, that's Will Dalton.
Will Dalton,
you know.
yes.
Yeah, we did both those daughters' wedding. So it's,
So a number of the weddings then were here. And
yeah, a lot of receptions were here, and
Reception.
sometimes the weddings, normally they'd set this up like a little chapel in here. Oh, yeah. And we've done some 50th anniversary pictures up here, you know. And
100th birthday.
that was 100, that was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or was it 100 or 90? I mean, it was,
I thought it was
maybe it was
100.
100.
I think it was 100.
who was
That
that?
wasn't too long ago. The name escapes me at the moment. I can picture the lady. Driscoll.
Joe Driscoll,
Joe Driscoll, but now whether the, whether-
great-grandmother, I don't
Yeah.
know.
yeah, and I don't know, you know, the honoree may not have been the Driscoll, because that was Joe's married name, Joe. Joe was a girl. you know. But that was, oh, that's been in the last year or so up here, I'd say.
So other members that were among the first members, the first decade members.
Frank Crowley.
Well, you just keep coming back to Frank.
I mean, he was the club as far as I was concerned. Oh,
So did y'all come to the Follies?
Oh, we were in the Follies
You were?
sometimes, oh yeah.
So what was tell me about one of the Follies that you were in. That was,
Well, man, I can't even remember now, but I mean, we would be chorus or something, you know, I mean, just not starring roles.
I sang once, a solo.
What did you sing?
And Darling George said, I think you practice too much. And I mean, I was a big flop, but nobody, I would never have known it from anybody else except for what George said.
Well, I always did have too big a mouth.
No, that was good. I might have kept on singing.
Do you remember the song, the name of the song? I'm testing memories too much.
Oh,
now.
yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
remember things either.
Yeah, well, if you waited one more day, I wouldn't remember anything. No, I can't remember it.
I just thought of a couple.
What were some of them?
I can't really, man, how many years ago has it been that been a Follies? But a lot
I
of
guess
those
it was in
other
the
people,
70s.
Jenkins and them, they were all part of that group.
Who were part of that group? Can you help me identify any
Well,
so I can talk to them? Because that's one of the things we want to identify. So Jenkins,
Jenkins would certainly be a good one. I guess. Let me see who else. Well, I know Jordan. Well, of course, Jordan's been dead for years. Pat's probably
Was
dead too.
Stanfield? And,
Well, I can't remember whether Stanfields were in that or not.
He's not here anymore.
Oh, Stanfield's been dead for years too.
Mrs. Stanfield's still a member. I know Regis Brinkus.
Brinkus, yeah.
And Amy,
Yeah.
Amiana is still here. See, we've lost.
Now we see Amy
Lost
because
another.
she's the president of Richardson Women's Club now. Amy is.
Oh. And you're Richardson Women's Club. That's something else you want.
Oh yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, you've been president of that
Sure.
along with the other presidencies, but yeah, you belong to that virtually since we've been here. And I think it's some of the other old members. One we just lost recently, Dave Willis. Marvin and Klein, what was her?
Karen.
Karen Klein. Karen Klein. That's some other old, long-time members.
Do you remember anything else that happened at the club? Anything that stands out? Funny, poignant? Did y'all have any weddings here? You just photographed with your 6 children? Were any of, did you have a wedding reception here? No.
Peggy.
Tricia.
Tricia?
Tricia.
Might have been.
I had my 70th birthday party here. But when I got my kilt.
Oh.
Tell me about that. Tell me about that.
What, turning 70? That was a blow. But my main present that night was a kilt from Scotland. And of course, I just tried to put it on like this, and they said, "Oh no, that's not going to go." So into the locker room we went.
All the boys went
All
in.
the boys went in to help me put the kilt on. And I thought, boy, if this isn't a totally useless gift. And I can't tell you how many times I've worn it.
You've been head of the
Well,
Scottish.
we've had a Burns night for 10 years. Robert Burns, the poet laureate,
You know that?
10 years we've had a Burns night here in Richardson that is a benefit for the Richardson Symphony. So there have been 5 or 6 of us who have been the committee running the Burns night for the 10 years for the symphony. And so of course we wear the kilts to that, and a lot of times at the committee meetings planning it, we wear our kilts and drink a wee bit of scotch.
They go together.
So that's always the 20-something of January, depending upon the weekend. 25th is actually Burns' birthday, so we have just completed.
So it wasn't such a useless gift after all.
No. It's amazing how many times I've worn that thing. Well, and then we go to Highland Games in Arlington or wherever, and so you always wear the kilt to that. So I thought it was very silly when I got it, but I've had it so long I've had to have it cleaned.
I think maybe we need to get a picture of you with
In
your
a
kilt.
kilt?
Oh.
Do you have a picture in your kilt?
I'm sure we do, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Well, yeah, oh yeah, we got pictures of me in a kilt.
I'd also like to have just a still picture of, a photograph of y'all, if you've got one.
Well,
I'm sure you must have a photo of
we're normally on the other side of the camera, but we do have a few pictures of us.
If you've got something you can share with me, because I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do with all of this, but I
You
certainly
want to
should
have
have
it so
a
you can decide.
should have a picture. Yes.
Okay.
So,
A
We
picture
can
of
do
us
that.
together and
Yeah.
a picture of us individually.
Well, no,
No.
together.
Together.
Yeah.
Together,
Yeah.
and the kilt. Do you have any costume you'd like to wear?
Well, actually, one I'm thinking of is there's one taken at one of the Burns nights, and you probably have the McCalpin plaid scarf on.
My maiden name was Schulte. And I feel kind of bad about wearing the Scottish thing, but McCalpin is my name now, so you can do it.
What was your mother's name?
McBride.
McBride. So
The heritage is there. The
that's
heritage is
right.
there.
That's right.
So with 6 children, how many grandchildren do you have?
10,
10.
but not very many for
And not for 6
No,
children,
no,
yeah,
it's not.
They wanted small families after that, yes.
We had a good time, though.
And we're about to leave next week for one of the grandchildren's weddings in Atlanta.
Oh, that's exciting.
Oh, yeah,
To get-
that's going to be
That's
fun.
Oh, it really is.
Was somebody looking?
So a girl, I didn't recognize her, but she came in and,
I have another appointment.
yeah, okay.
No, I
Well,
I don't know what time it is.
we've about worn ourselves out. It's 11:30
It's 11:30, okay.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to Atlanta this
next week.
next
Next
weekend
week, yeah.
for a grandson's wedding. He's an architect, and he's just a lovely person. I remember when he was very little, when he walked into our backyard, which we're extremely proud of because we did this, and he said, "This is like fairyland."
That makes him very special.
Oh, yeah.
To recognize that. To recognize that you made a fairyland for him. That's the thing. Well,
Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you so
see how
much.
that works out and whatnot.
Yes, I will go through and
And
we'll
if you come up with
pick a
some
little bit.
questions,
Is Ryan here? Okay, great. Thank you.
if you come up with some questions,
And now that we've